Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues. And with this video, I want to talk briefly about Jurassic World. It was a pretty enjoyable movie, I have to say. And I'm somebody who's coming off being a fan of the Jurassic Park filmography to begin with. I actually thoroughly enjoy the first, second, and third films in this franchise, even though it seems like the niche thing or the cool thing to say is, well, the second one wasn't as good as the first. It actually sucked. And, oh my God, the third one was worse and all that kind of stuff. I feel like these are movies kind of akin to the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, where you know what you're getting every step of the way. Every successive installment of this particular franchise, you should know what to expect. It's like the Godzilla films. You always have giant monsters terrorizing and terrassing all through Tokyo or Japan or wherever they are in the world in the particular movie in question. And you should have sort of an idea of the formula you're getting into. I have seen some people talking about this film like it's gangbusters, it's awesome, it's so freaking cool and everything, I had so much fun. And then you have the antithesis where it's, people are like, this was a stink bomb, it sucked, it was too predictable and all this stuff. And to the people who are naysaying the film, it's like, how can you have missed, with a title like Jurassic World, how could you have missed what you're getting into? How could you have thought this was going to be like Shakespeare in the Park or something? Where were you coming from with, what your expectations were? I knew exactly, based on just a few of the trailers I'd seen, I knew exactly what the formula, the mix of the film was intended to be, and I thoroughly enjoyed it for that. I liked the performances of Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, who I've had a mad crush on for a long time, but she was awesome in the film. Of course, she is a class act. B.D. Wong's character, returning from the first film, and they make him somewhat more ominous. He has more of a, substantive part in this particular piece. And then the man, Vincent D'Onofrio, as well. I mean, you just have, such gravitas in the performances, in the actors chosen for this film. I even liked the story of the two brothers. The parents are going to be splitting up, and it's about them coming together. It's not the cliche of, heartwarming, kind of like what they did with Jurassic Park 3, where the family reunites and everything in tragedy. Not quite, playing out that way, and I liked that. It, earned sort of bonus points for me along those lines. But as I say, I knew what I was getting involved in seeing this particular film, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed, most notably, of course, the throwbacks, the, Tyrannosaurus Rex from the first film, the raptors, which have had an sort of evolutionary story arc, I guess, for lack of a better term, through the course of the films. We see that they are very lethal, and I like how by 3, you're kind of, they can communicate, and you're, loosely, you have the protagonists of that film using that, communication sort of to win the day. And then by this film, there's something much more. There's an evolution in the connectivity between human beings and the raptors, which are very smart animals, And I also like that idea of some of these people, they are just thinking about the bottom dollar and the statistics, and they are literally thinking about the statistics. These are just marks. These are just, sort of percentage points roaming around the park. And it's not until they start wreaking havoc and you see the actual balances and dividends, if you will, of life and death being waged by these creatures. And, it's kind of like banging you on the head. The question remains throughout the course of the film, when are you gonna learn? It's, nature. We can't contain it and all that kind of stuff. And it goes all the way back to the first movie. It's like, as soon as you put some of these, little embryos into the cryogenics tube and started messing with them, you were opening a can of hurt on the entire world. Not only for these creatures, but for we, humanity. I like that line about how we think in terms of we're the cat to the mouse, or whatever it was. And like I say, that communicative barrier, that sort of emotional barrier between the beta most, Raptor Blue. Loved that going back and forth between Pratt's character. There were shades, of course, of Pratt. I'm not that familiar with this guy's filmography. This is the only other movie I've seen of his besides Guardians of the Galaxy, and I just kind of feel like, well, I'm watching Star-Lord to a point. But I have to say, there was only certain aspects of his character that felt very similar to that for me, and they stood out. Like, it was like, oh geez, Star-Lord is in this movie, you know. But then there were other aspects of his performance that didn't feel like that, especially the idea that this guy is a trainer of animals, and in this case beasts, you know, the raptors most notably. And the fact that, like, whereas Star-Lord is kind of out of his element to a point, he does have his own skills and everything like that in Guardians, but I felt like this character was definitely much more confident. He knew what he was talking about. He wasn't out of his element nearly as much as, you know, the Star-Lord character. And as I say, I mean, everybody else was just kind of a class act in the film, and it plays out exactly how it kind of sort of should play out. In a storyline evolutionary sort of process. I mean, you have the first movie where this is all brand new and people are already then, you know, taken aback by it, and we see how dangerous it is. The second movie, you know, it's the corporate side of things coming in and trying to pick up where the human side, if you will, that sort of human ignorance side, they want to attach dollar signs to it, and it wreaks havoc. It blows up in their face. In 3, it's like, well, we're trying to get out of Dodge, but we got people who are still stupidly stumbling into the park and stumbling into the gunfire, and we got to go save them. And then this movie, once again, kind of doubles back on that idea about making it percentages, making it dollar signs. And so you have InGen, which has been just the thorough, through the course of, you know, the filmography, they've been the bad guys ever since Hammond, the guy who started it all. You know, he started falling ill in the second film. I guess by this movie he has passed on, and it's in the hands of other people. You have people trying to do things, you know, live up to his vision and what he wanted. But of course, you're still playing with fire. You know, you're still not learning the lesson that needs to be learned. And there's still people who are coming in and wanting to, you know, put dollars and wages, you know, into play with all of this in mind. But then they top it. And that's D'Onofrio's character. He's part of InGen, and it's not just about making money. It's not just about playing with fire. It's about taking that fire, adding it to the torch, and weaponizing the hell out of it. Taking these raptors and making them an army. And it's like, I kind of think it's funny, spoiler warning for those who haven't seen the film, the first thing he loses is an arm, you know, because lesson not learned. He's the guy coming in and he's like, we got to use this to our advantage. This is the perfect scenario. One of our creatures, the biggest baddie of them all, has escaped. We got to use and weaponize these raptors because of that simpatico, you know, Pratt's character's feeling with them. And it's like, duh, you're still missing the point. Leave the frickin' island. Leave the dinosaurs as they may. And of course, we have very sort of shoved in our face this aesthetic of, well, we can still tell further stories. This movie does well because, hey, we've stolen all the embryos. We've gotten it all out there. We had a side project. Ooh, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. What's the side project? And, of course, they get Wong's character the hell out of there first, along with the embryos. So it's like, it does feel like they're setting up for more, you know, movies in this franchise, and I think as long as you don't fool yourself that you're going to get something different or original or whatever, there are original thoughts and concepts and ideas that are put into this film. But it's nothing bank-breaking. It's nothing we haven't seen before. It's giant dinosaurs going ape guano, and we are paying the price because we're the ones who, you know, messed around with that flame to begin with. And you do have, if you can sort of open your mind to it, you do have heart. You do have the idea of, you know, Bryce Dallas Howard's and Chris Pratt's characters coming together, the brothers coming together. There are lessons to be learned, but of course, stupid humanity. We're going to keep tripping up our own shoes and not stop to tie them. And so, you know, I don't get where people are coming from who didn't enjoy the film, because I knew going in what it was going to be. And, you know, for the most part, the things that strung me through the piece were seeing the dinosaurs. That's why I'm there. You know, it's Jurassic something. It's going to have dinosaurs. That's what I want to see. But it also had certain human elements and certain interesting questions that go all the way through all 4 of the films now, you know, 4 in the franchise. And I thought that was interesting. And I thought it was really cool seeing a building off, an evolution, as I say, with the raptors and the idea of them kind of being emotional or, you know, feeling a connection with Pratt's character, with the human quotient. And it kind of leaves off, I'm almost like, where's the Caesar dinosaur? You know, is the Tyrannosaur at the end of the film, is that Caesar? Are we going to have, you know, Dawn of the Jurassic World or something like that? Because it almost feels like as these, you know, creatures evolve, you could tentatively have a movie somewhere down the line where they're actually fully, you know, capable of speaking a dialect and dinosaurs and all this stuff. Science fiction, B-movie stuff. But that's what it is. It's a B-movie on the grandiose scale of a summer blockbuster. And if you don't lose sight of that, I cannot see how you could go wrong being, you know, sort of enamored and just having a fun time with a movie like this. So that's, you know, just me saying my piece on it. I thoroughly enjoyed the film for what it was worth. I liked some of the performances in it. Not all of them, I will admit. And they're, you know, it's not as if it's without its predictable, you know, qualities. But that shouldn't take away from the movie because it's frickin' Jurassic World. It's the 4th in a franchise. How many, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street, to go back to that, movies are you going to go see where you're like, Freddy's the bad guy. He's in the dreams. He's killing people. Oh my God, I didn't see it coming. You know? So, I mean, balls to the wall, awesome movie as far as I was concerned. I will be glad to add it to my DVD collection of the films. I still got to upgrade the original trilogy to begin with of Jurassic Park, but they will all make, you know, sort of well-fitted additions to my DVD collection. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what you thought of Jurassic World if you've seen it. And that'll be pretty much it for me on this. So I hope this video finds you well, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.